Well, Namaskar and a very warm welcome to each one of you who's here. It's my privilege to come to Coimbatore and get to interact with all of you through this means of a press conference. The occasion, of course, is 4 years of the NDA government in the center. And before I begin, I'll just apprise you of how I will go about it. So I'll make since I see the number of mics which are here, I'll make an opening statement which probably could be recorded by the cameras. And then I will step back to the rostrum here and take you through as quickly as possible through the presentation of 48 months of NDA government. Since 4 years of a government in a country like India, and the amount of work which is done is so colossal. The number of slides are 76, but I'll try and go as fast as possible. The idea is to apprise you of the work and so that you have an overall understanding of what work the government has done. So if you allow me, I'll probably sit here and given a statement in brief, and thereafter I'll get up again and conduct the press conference, the presentation. Is that okay by you? All right. With all humility, I on this occasion, I'll present you with the work that the government has done for the last 48 months. India is a huge country, and over a number of decades, large sections of the society have been left untouched. Rural areas, poor women, farmers, large number of youth which are there in a country. The overall status of a country in the eyes of the international community. The defense, many areas where for decades there was no progress or limited progress. In the last 48 months. And there's a specific reason why we say 48 months. We could have well said 4 years. But in the last 48 months, the work that we have done, the direction that we have taken to transform this country, the intent, the willpower the government has shown has not even been visible in the last 48 years. We are openly challenging comparison. We are taking it to the public because they have voted us. We are responsible. When we occupy this platform, we are responsible to the people who voted us. And therefore, with all humility and accountability and responsibility, we are stating the work that the NDA government, the Narendra Modi Sarkar has done in the last 48 months, which is not even been done in the last 48 years of rule of a single family. We have changed the governance of this country. We have focused on development of all segments in this country, from rural women to farmers, to youth, to creating an atmosphere of confidence in India by the rest of the nations in this world.
and thereby strengthening the country and moving in a direction where we can make the India of our dreams. And so our actions of development through good governance has been for a transformative India. A new India. An India of our dreams. I will of course take this opportunity now to take you through the presentations. It's going to be a long presentation. So I seek your patience in that. I'll try and hurry as fast as possible. And with that a short brief, I'll get on to the presentation. Thank you. So can you decide once? I don't know.
So like I was mentioning, the 48 months here is for a particular reason, which is comparing straight away the 48 years of rule of a particular family compared to the last 48 months of a government chosen by the people. As I stated earlier, that our mission has been to touch people who are the most downtrodden, who've been neglected so far. There's a very large number of people, a very large India that resides in the rural areas. There's a very large India that is not privileged, and therefore who takes care of their houses, who takes care of funding for their projects, who takes care of their health, who takes care of their self-respect, who makes this India empowered to then strengthen the country. 2014, when the Prime Minister from the Red Fort said that I'm going to focus on opening of bank accounts, a very large number of people in our country could not understand as to what is the reason, why is the Prime Minister emphasizing on the bank accounts. 4 years down the line, 31 crore bank accounts have been opened. And this is not just bank accounts. This is the pathway to an empowered country, an empowered nation. This is the pathway. Because as you will see in the slides ahead, that all the benefits and all major portion of the corruption has been stopped because of opening of these bank accounts. Banks have always existed in our country. For centuries, banks have existed. But can you believe that banks that existed centuries ago did not give access to people in the 21st century? There are 31 crore people that in this country of ours who had no access to banks in the 21st century that we are living in. And of course, the last point, the postal departments are now being converted into banks so that there's facility in every village. You know, when you go to villages and you go and meet people, and I'm talking about very rural India, and I've had the privilege of knowing rural India from up close. Now that my constituency is also rural. When you go to them, you realize that there is only one person in the family who's working. And that person goes out of the house to go and work and come back. God forbid if something happens to that person. Accident or any other calamity. That family has no bread earner left. And in these situations, normally people used to wait for governments to be benevolent. And say that we'll give you 50,000 rupees or we'll give you 1 lakh rupees. It was arbitrary. Now we've come up with a simple scheme because self-respect is the most important thing for every family. You should not be folding your hands in front of anyone. And therefore we come up with a simple scheme of PM Suraksha at 12 rupees per year, 1 rupees per month. There are many families who because of an accident,
suffered and now have been in a way blessed with this support, immediate support at times of need. And of course we have PM Yojana. People to whom insurance companies would never go to are now being insured. It's not just the government servants who have a pension. Every person can have a pension. There has to be a system, a scheme for them. That has been crores of people, 19 crore people are now benefit with the combination of all of these schemes. 19 crore people means 19 crore families being touched. When the Prime Minister spoke of creating toilets, he said let the whole country work towards creating toilets. We were in a way working towards what Mahatma Gandhi once wished it happens in the country. Not only that, I remember, and all of you would remember that when we are driving or when we are going in the rural areas, or even in urban areas, if you see somebody defecating in the open, we turn our faces away. This is what we've been taught in our culture. That we look away out of respect for that person. But today we have a Prime Minister who does not look away. He ensures that people do not have to defecate in the open. He doesn't look away from the problems. He faces the problems. And he finds a solution. Many years ago, I was traveling with some of the international athletes. They had come down and I was traveling with them. We were going through the rural areas. And there were people defecating in the open. They found it very strange. They took out their mobile phones to record it. At that point, it's occasions like this that you feel ashamed. That why does your country not have what they have? And then obviously you need someone in the government to be able to take those strong decisions. So we now have 7.25 crore toilets built in the whole country. And with this, it's just not respect, but it's also better health. Imagine a person who has to restrict for relieving themselves to only morning hours or late night hours. If you try and do that, you realize how difficult it is. And so it has health benefits, and mother is always the nucleus of a family. If the mother is healthy, everyone in the family will be. And these toilets have ensured that the dropout rates of the school girls is also reduced in schools. The mothers are more healthier, and they have a sense of respect as well. 3.6 lakh villages are now open defecation free. Food security has been ensured. Direct bank transfer. If you recollect, I said the bank accounts that were opened are the gateway to stopping corruption in this country. 431 schemes, 92 ministries. All these schemes, the money is now going through a direct bank transfer to the people. There are gas connections which were over and above the use of a family. But they were all being subsidized. Today the subsidy is going only to the right people. So 20 crore people are getting subsidy into the bank account. And large number of money has been saved because of that. 69 crores is being sent as subsidy directly to the bank accounts. Many useless gas connections have now been removed. 3,65,000 crores money is going into the bank via bank transfers to the bank accounts to the beneficiaries. We all realize that India has a very different reputation now in the eyes of the world. Now, I remember a saying by Alexander many centuries ago where he said that I am not afraid of an army of sheep being led by a lion. He said that I'm not afraid of an army of lions being led by a sheep, but I'm afraid that in case it's an army of lions being led by a lion. So India has always been a strong nation, but we've never had a strong Prime Minister of late. And here is one Prime Minister who's made his leadership felt throughout the world. And because of that, we are now respected in all the various forums, international forums. Our GDP is rising when the world's GDP is around 4%. Our GDP is increasing. We've always had yoga, which has been part of our culture. But today, yoga is celebrated across the world. And United Nations has decided on a date, 21st of June, as an International Yoga Day. The role of our country, because of our growing economy, because of large number of youth in our country, because of the fact that we are becoming the biggest production house, is again we have a very strong say in the climate change. For the last 10 decades, and when I say last 10 decades, I mean from the time 2004 to 2014. 2004 to 2014, there was not a single modernization done with the armed forces of our country. And now we moved ahead to strengthening our armed forces, to modernizing them. For the first time, our soldiers, with the permission of Government of India, with the backing of the Prime Minister, went across the borders and hit the enemy in their own camps. We carried out the surgical strikes. We sent out a message to the world that India will not accept terrorism happening in our backyard, and we will hit back when it is required. The armed forces again had been asking for one rank, one pension from 40 years. So the governments before had not moved on to it. In less than 1 year, we gave one rank, one pension. The status of the country is so strong now that with all the forums, economic forums, the United Nations, and all these places, the role of India is highly respected. Technology is touching everyone. You have your mobile phones. When you travel, you need navigation. You talk to each other. The farmers need technology. The climate needs to be predicted. You're all watching television. You're sending live broadcasts through your simple gadgets. Everything requires technology, and it requires the support of satellite. Today, we are self-reliant. Earlier, even our armed forces was dependent on satellites of other countries. Today, we not only have our own satellites, we've given satellites to SAARC as well. The SAARC nations, our friendly nations all around, with the responsibility that India has provided a satellite to them. We now have the capacity, and we did, because we have to catch up with the developed countries, we launched 104 satellites in a single launch. Farmers are our priority. And the slogan that was given earlier by Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, we've taken it forward and we've implemented it. So how do we, and with the commitment, how do we increase the income of farmers from now, and we double it by 2022? So there has to be technology used there. So technology which was earlier restricted to laboratories are now being taken to the farms. We're using markets. I remember when I was competing in the US, and I used to be competing and traveling in the villages, and I saw a place which said FM 111 or FM 115, and I asked my friend, what is this FM? And he says, this means farm to market. Roads, rural roads in America are named FM, farm to market. So those farm to market roads was first developed here by Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji when he came up with Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Today, we have gone beyond that, and we've provided market to the farmers. On a mobile phone, the farmers now know what is the rate of their produce. They are not dependent on the mandi which is there closest to them physically. They have access to all the mandis. They can sell their product at a better price to the mandi that they feel is giving them the right price. Similarly, soil health card, use of fertilizers, neem coating of urea. I mean, again, in UPA time, 30% of urea was neem coated. Why 30%? Why not 70? Why not 100%? Why the remaining 70%? A large amount of urea is pilfered. The subsidy used to go directly to the factory. The urea was pilfered. And it's all goes into the black economy. Today, as soon as we came, our intention was very clear. And we neem coated the entire urea. Look at the amount that we've committed to farmers. 11 lakh crore is the farm credit that is available to them. Tax incentives have been given for activities post-harvest. The bamboo, which was till now a tree and therefore could not be cut, has been converted into grass so that farmers can utilize the bamboos for various produce. MSP used to be at the whims and fancies of government. Now it has been, there is a formula to it. It's been earmarked. 1.5 times of the production cost is going to be the MSP. We've increased it to 1.5 times. There's 20 lakh ton produce, which used to be 1.5 lakh ton earlier. That's the stock of pulses that we have. This is the amount of all there in front of you, how we've used the various technology to improve the farming capabilities, the micro irrigation fund which is available to the farmers. Again, what I've already spoken of, connecting all the mandis, giving through mobile technology to the farmers, having access to all the mandis so that they can know the right price. Earlier, whenever there used to be any calamity and the crop would be destroyed because of, heavy rains or something else, it used to be 50% damage to the crops and then you would get compensation. The moment our government came, we reduced it to 33%. Not just that, earlier in UPA government time, only a standing crop, if the standing crop was destroyed, only then would you get compensated, that to 50%. Now, even a harvested crop, even a newly sown crop, if it is destroyed, the compensation is provided when the destruction is more than 33%. Families of the diseased farmers, 4 lakh, a support of 4 lakh rupees increased from 2.5 lakh rupees. If you look at the right at the bottom one, you will see the state, the fund which is there for the state for all the calamities that is there is risen 82%. Again, the amount has gone up from 33,000 crores to 61,000 crores from this period, 2015 to 2020. That's State Disaster Relief Fund. So I've again spoken of this, how neem has been coated and how corruption has been stopped. Youth are the greatest strength, and therefore this window of opportunity which India has, we have to take advantage of this window of opportunity. Large number of youth, they need to be skilled, they need to have the opportunity to grow. If they want to start their own setup, they need to have funding for that setup. Companies outside need to have faith and trust in our country to invest in our country. All this whole atmosphere has to be created so that the large number of youth that we have in our country do not miss this window of opportunity that our country has got. For the same reason, we've created Atal Tinkering Labs. We've created for handicapped children, we've created 50,000 special toilets for them so that they don't have to drop out of schools because of lack of facilities. The Atal Tinkering Labs is a very interesting thing. Young children who have new ideas, new concepts, they need to be given these facilities in the schools itself. That is how innovation happens. And that is why we've created 2,400 Atal Tinkering Labs, so that children, students who have new ideas can work on them. The UGC has granted autonomy to 60 universities. We believe that universities need to be run by experts, and therefore we've given them that autonomy now. There's a national testing agency to conduct all professional examinations. The various types of reforms have been carried out in education. If you see the top right, we've created many IITs, IIMs, medical colleges, Navodaya Vidyalayas, because education cannot be restricted to metro cities. The startups. When you start a company, you need to have benefit of tax exemptions. So we've created tax relief for 3 consecutive years out of a block of 7 years. Any 3 years they can ask for. Similarly, there's a very large amount of funding coming through Mudra loans. Skill training, like I mentioned earlier, is just not degrees. Now you need to be skill trained. So skill training centers have come up all across the country. 1 crore young children have access to, young adults have access to these training centers. This is the first time that the Government of India has created a platform for school students which is nearly equivalent to a Commonwealth Games or an Asian Games. The Prime Minister believes that until and unless we all are physically fit, India will not become a healthy and a strong nation. His vision was, can we give a platform to our young children so that more and more can dream of Olympics, more and more can aspire to have participated and competed in an environment which is equal to Commonwealth Games. So for the first time, school national championship was conducted and 100 hours of live broadcast was done. We are picking up 1,000 children from here and giving them 5 lakh rupees per year for 8 years in a row, so that at a time when nobody sponsors them, it is the Indian government with the taxpayers' money coming in to sponsor these future champions of our country. Like I mentioned right in the beginning, women are the nucleus of a family. And anything, their self-respect, their health, their education, their sports, anything that you do for them is going to be doubly or triply helpful to this country. And that is why, if you notice, many families who live in the rural areas, right in the beginning I mentioned to you that what happens to the large number of people who are residing in rural areas, who do not have the benefits of the city, who takes care of those families? Another answer here, that since a woman of the house, the mother, sister, they are the ones who are nurturing the family, they need to be given more time with themselves. So a lot of them spend large number of hours just cooking, gathering wood, cooking food for the family. Now all that has been reduced because now they have gas connections with themselves. So the food is cooked much faster. The women have more time. They don't have to wait till night or before morning to go for toilets. It's all there, so their health is better. All this time they will now devote to nurturing the families. And I know you're very aware, all of you. And therefore, when I say that women are also working in the field, in the agriculture areas, you would know that this is a fact. So the women are literally working everywhere, nurturing the families, working in the crops also, in the agriculture fields also trying to do something to generate money for the family. So that's why we've come up with you'll see, we'll come up with Mudra loans for women. The child needs to be healthy. That's why we've come up with a scheme of portion, of nutrition for young children, because the mother and the child both need to be healthy. For working women, We've come up with 26 weeks of maternity leave so that both the mother and the child are healthy. Prime Minister has always been talking about girl child and how important the girl child is. It's already evident that the sex ratio is now changing. This is a behavioral change. It is not for any vote bank politics. It's a very simple and straight. If you want to strengthen the country, there are many things that are apolitical, and therefore only a person of the level of the Prime Minister should address them and strengthen them. Rising enrollment. So like I mentioned earlier, the dropout rate of the girls is reducing now. I spoke about Mudra loan, 4 lakh crore rupees. You know, for me it was an eye-opener. Before 2014 I was given so when I joined I was given figures. 35,000 crores used to be the money given out for entrepreneurship, for the loans. I thought 35,000 crores was quite a bit. 4 lakh crores has been given in the last 4 years. 4 lakh crores. And 10 crore people have benefited through this Mudra loan. 10 crore people. 10 crore people means at least 10 crore families, because if one person is earning, then he takes care of the rest of the people. So 10 crore families have been taken care of. And if you account for 4 or 5 members in each family, 50 crore people have been benefited through this Mudra loan. And 50,000 and below, the lowest loan is 90% of this Mudra Yojana. So out of 4 lakh crores, 90% has gone only for the lowest amount of loan. So these would be for somebody who's trying to sell vegetables, somebody who's trying to set up a very small shop for something, maybe a barber or someone, maybe a basic vehicle that is coming as a taxi, Uber, Ola, a lot of these people who are now gaining self-employment. 70% of the Mudra beneficiaries are women. Again, we come back to the same point, that the nucleus of the family is working the hardest, and we provided them the maximum support. We also have for the SC, ST and OBC, the stand-up loans. 9 crore women have benefited through the Mudra and Stand Up India. This is something that puts a head in shame anytime, anywhere it happens. And therefore, apart from the behavioral change that's required in the society, some very strong punitive measures had to be announced. And our government has gone ahead and announced these punitive measures. Again, coming back to the nucleus of the family, women were not allowed to do Hajj Yatra alone without the presence of a male guardian. We've done away with that. We've changed that rule. And that was, by the way, only a rule made within India, not outside. We've, of course, historic steps towards ending triple talaq. We moved ahead. We have yet to cross the Rajya Sabha, but we have the support of the people and Lok Sabha. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, a very interesting one. I'll of course come ahead also. But a large number of women have been benefited through this. Passport rules for single mothers have all been amended and been made easier for them. Social justice. Again, the pre-matric scholarship for SC or OBC has all been increased from what it was to 2.5 lakhs. We've 3.3 crore students have been benefited through the scholarship, which total up to 7,500 crores. Accessibility of various stadiums, schools is being ensured. Special camps are being organized for distribution of various devices and aids. We've added speech and language disability as well as part of the disability. And acid attack victims have also been included in the rights of persons with disabilities. So we've amended that act. Earlier, there were 7 types of disabilities which were part of this act. We've increased it to 21. Again, penalties for those who are any crimes towards the Divyangs, the disabled people, is being very strictly dealt with. We are ensuring that our icons are remembered, and therefore our maker of the Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar, his birthplace, the place where he got his Diksha, the place where he studied, are all being turned into places of where the youth can visit. A healthy India. Now, health is a primary thing for everyone. And who ensures the health of the large number of people who cannot afford it themselves? Again, the Government of India has planned a scheme for it. The Ayushman Bharat, providing 5 lakh worth of coverage to each Indian, to 50 crore people actually. And that's been announced and now that's being executed. Ensuring good health of mother and the child, like I mentioned earlier. 1.1 crore antenatal checkups have been done. So many health camps have been organized. 80 lakh pregnant women have been immunized. So it all means that the government, the health department is working, going to the rural areas and ensuring that the mother and child are healthy. Again, like I mentioned earlier, if the mother and the child are healthy, the nation is going to be healthy and strong. It's all being done in a very targeted approach through the scheme and multinodal interventions. Operating on your knee, on your heart, till a couple of years ago used to be only for the well-off people. Stents were very expensive. We've ensured that the cost of the stents has come down. The price of the knee implants has been reduced, both of them by about 50 to 70%. Affordable medicines are now available in more than 3,000 stores. Dialysis is now on a campaign mode. The dialysis program is being run. There are 497 dialysis units that have been made functional. About 2.5 lakh people have availed of this facility. Immunization program, again revamped and moving ahead on a mission mode. They've completed 4 phases covering 528 districts. Infrastructure. You know, one of the US presidents very famously said that America has not made the roads. Roads have made America. And therefore, wherever good infrastructure goes, the economy of the place gets better. Everything gets more stronger. We've ensured that lakhs and lakhs kilometers of roads are being made. So 2 lakh kilometers of road is being made in our country. The Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, houses for the poor. We have a target of 1 crore houses to be built by 2019. And it's in a very democratic manner. In every village, the whole Gram Sabha gets together. And then they decide, the Gram Sabha decides as to who amongst them should get the house. And therefore, it's the most genuine people who get the houses there. So they get the money to build, they get the plot of land as well. Our target is that by 2022, nobody will be without a home. To set high standards, to compare, which can be compared to the world, we have identified 100 urban areas which are now being developed as smart cities. If you look at this, how the transformation is taking place. Then look at the expenditure on road construction. Look where UPA was 13-14, look where NDA is 17-18. Again, if you see the highways, national highways, and if you see the speed of construction, I think is all very apparent there. The development of the railways, very clear on the slide. What 2013-14 and from 14 to 18, very clear on the broad gauge as well as the track renewal. Air travel, by the way, it was a a pleasant surprise for me to see that there are more number of people who've traveled in aeroplanes in the year than in the railways. This is how affordable the aircraft travel has become. I'm comparing the airplanes with AC trains. We've capped the price of the tickets to 2,500. We've ensured that the government is providing them with the necessary subsidy so that they can fly the aircrafts between smaller cities. Air travel now is useful for everyone, be it an emergency in health, meeting relatives, for trading, business, anything. It's vital now. Again, our reforms have been keeping in mind what is right for the country, not for the vote bank politics, but what is right for the country. And our government has never hesitated to take strong decisions in for the betterment of the country. Like I said before, the GDP of our country is at 7.4, which is absolutely unparalleled anywhere in the world. Ease of doing business, ease of living, both have been connected. If there is ease of doing business, it has to be connected to what benefit does that business bring to a common Indian. And therefore, businesses' expansion has to be for the good of the larger number of people. So ease of living has to improve. Banking reforms, again, all these various cases of defaulters. All defaulters are the people who were given loans earlier, before 2014. We are the ones who have brought the attention onto them. Earlier, loans used to be given, large number of loans used to be given for setting up of factories. The factory won't work, and then the further loans used to be given so that the loaned money can be paid back. So there used to be loan on loan and then on loan. So there were schemes which would keep the loan in perpetuity. And therefore a common person would never come to know that there's something wrong happening in the economy. All that has been changed now. And an example of Bhushan Steel is very clear. An asset worth 20,000 crore, they had taken a loan of 50,000 crore. All that has been now stopped. 36,000 crores has been recovered from them. 12% is still with the government as assets, and Tata's has been told to take over that. Many more such cases will happen in the future. Labor and their EPFO accounts can now be moved because of the universal account number. A good example of Make in India. Before 2014, there were only 2 manufacturing units for mobile phones in our country. Today there are 120 factories. Obviously, providing a large number of work as well to the people. I think there's no doubt in this, that right from day one, our government has come and taken very strong steps to curbing corruption, to bringing in transparency in our governance. Each one of them is self-explanatory. Every step has been taken, not keeping in mind the elections that keep happening in our country, but keeping in mind that this country has one opportunity to become stronger, and no stone unturned will be left to make it stronger. PMLA, as you see the bottom one, PMLA has been amended so that property can be confiscated. But now all the defaulters it becomes easier for the government to get money back from them and to hold them accountable. Benami property, again, a government that itself has Benami property will never come up with an act. And I'm not surprised that before our tenure, this Benami Property Act was lying, it wasn't passed by the earlier government. Now that it has been passed, there are a large number of people who are trying to let go of their properties which are not in their names or under fraud names. Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill, again, it strengthens the hand of the government to bring in all fugitives back to the law. Coal auctions, everything over the counter, everything very transparent. Not a single finger raised on the way any of the auctions were done. Even the interviews have been done away for non-gazetted officers, so that the lobbying and the sifarish that always happens is all done away with. Unprecedented speed and scale in transforming the nation is the same set of people who are there in bureaucracy. The same officers are there. Yet in the last 4 years, as we've demonstrated and as you will see right now, the speed of work of the government has been amazing. It is because of a very strong leadership, very committed leadership. Each of these slides is self-explanatory. Be it the national highways, be it the speed of highway construction, average speed of rural road construction is all there. There's been a 62% reduction in the accident. Of course, every single accident is extremely painful. We have to come down to 0 accidents, but we are moving in that direction now. The number of toilets built, 1947 to 2014, 6.5 crore toilets were built. In 14 to 18, 7.5 crores, 7.25 crores toilets have been built. Each of them, if you check each one of them, you will realize. If you see the fiber optic connectivity to the extreme right, 59 villages between 2011 and 2014, and 1.5 lakh villages after that. When there is a transparent government, you automatically have more people who are there in support of the government, and therefore the number of taxpayers registered from 65 has gone up to 1 crore. LED bulbs are being distributed across the whole country, to the extent of the fact that a large number of electricity bills have been reduced because of the usage of LED bulbs. It's a comparison here. The amount of bank accounts opened is equal to the population of the entire US. And like I mentioned earlier, more than 19 crore people are now supported by various schemes, where it's Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana or Suraksha Yojana. We've ensured that 18,000 villages which were left unelectrified, which means not even a single electric pole was there in those 18,000 villages, now has electricity right up to the village. But we are not satisfied there. The moment we achieved 100% success rate in connecting these villages with electricity, our next target was that we will connect every house by December 2018. So it's Saubhagya. It will ensure that electrification of 4 crore unelectrified homes by 2018. This is the income tax returns. 2013-14, it has jumped from there to more than double in 17-18. Just check I pressed the wrong button. Just get me back to that slide, please. Just go down, yeah. Oh, no, we have finished. Yeah, that's the last one. Thank you, gentlemen. Not tired, I hope? All right, thank you so much. Is there any questions? Yeah, yeah.
Your name and organization, please. Your name and organization.
My name is Ratan Kumar. Hello. Hello. Yeah. My name is Ratan Kumar. I am working for IBC channel as well as for Simplicity mobile app in Coimbatore, which is the largest platform over here. See, my question is there are around 11,800 and above portals over the all over India, and around 2,500 are doing it very well over here.
Portals?
I mean web portals.
Web portals.
Online portals. But it is not being given a recognition for this thing. We have been pleading for this to give a recognition as a press. Has the government has taken any initiative on giving it, doing like that?
In fact, overall, there are about 56,000 web portals in our country. And I have, whenever I meet media, I've asked to create an association, NDA, like GEC channels, everyone, you can have your own self-regulation happening. So we are completely supportive of by the web portals to come together as an association and create a code of conduct for themselves, like all the other journalists do. Yeah.
Sir, my name is Mardachalam, Captain TV. Last year, National Youth Award, sir. I am also. Rural Youth Welfare is near Yuva Kendra, but few years not functioning near Yuva Kendra. Any reason, sir?
No, Nehru Yuva Kendra is completely functional, and so is the NSS. We had the national awards for NSS also in this year, and we will continue to have it all through.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have some more people right now? Let's just go around first, and then we'll come back.
To the rural masses, like in fact, people are very much enjoying that gas connections. But what about the fuel prices? Fuel prices are shooting up every day. What initiative the government are taking to control the fuel prices? Whether the prices will be brought to the table?
So I think the petroleum minister has already spoken on this. There are on the fuel there are taxes which are applied by the states and the center. And the states are unwilling to let go of the taxes that they are applying right now. A talk that fuel may come under GST sometime ahead. So there is discussion going on that front as well. But I'd like to make a point here. Of course, the central government is working on a long-term basis for the fuel prices so as to bring comfort to the large number of people who are using fuel. You should, for your benefit, I'd like to reiterate that fuel is now unregulated, prices are unregulated. But the point that I'm going to make here right now is something much larger, and that is somewhere about 4 crore people are paying taxes in this country. And there are 125 crore Indians. The gas subsidy that is going, the large number of roads that are being constructed, the welfare measures that are being taken, the revival of the whole economy is of course supported largely by the taxpayers of this country. So certainly I'd like to salute the taxpayers, but the point that I'm making is when you put money back into the economy and when all these roads are constructed, when more youth from the rural areas have access to better skill, then all these people further serve the cause of the taxpayers themselves, because better factories, better employability in factories, more people available for the service industry, So more and more people get attached to the companies, to the services which are provided by the taxpayers themselves. So it actually boosts the whole economy together.
So, Mahil Vaganan from the Times of India. Sir, BJP has lost multiple bypolls across the country, Lok Sabha as well as Assembly seats. What are your views on that, sir? These achievements, have these achievements not transformed into votes there?
There is a reason that all the ministers visit various cities where these are cities where the media is very active. And certainly it's because of that reason that I'm here. We believe that India does not reside only in Delhi or in the metro cities. And therefore, it's important for all of us, for Government of India, to connect to the very large number of journalists present in regional areas. It's very important that the work of the government, that reaches the masses. And that's where all the journalists play a very important role. The schemes, the policies, once they reach the public, it's only then would we be aware of whether any modification is required in the policy or the policy is good and there's any other sort of feedback. And that's why it's very important that people are aware as to what benefits have been created by the government so that we can further improve it or know what should be our path ahead. We are very confident. There are few things that our government has done which is absolutely unprecedented. And because of that, we are confident that the large number of people of this country will realize and then vote for their future. And this is that we have worked for this country with a vision to make it a transformative India, to transform it into a new India. We've hit upon the root of all corruption. So be it the direct bank transfers or be it various laws, be it the Benami property, be it the RERA Act for real estate, be it doing away with all sorts of middlemen which usually float around the corridors of power, be it doing away with the red light that the ministers used to put over their vehicles, be it doing away with discretionary quotas of ministers. Everything that we have done has been done to transform India to a new India by creating development in this country. And we believe that people will see this and vote for us. You all are very learned journalists, and I'm sure more than me, you are aware as to what are the subjects with the center, what are the subjects with the states. And yet, in a press conference by a central minister, I'm asked a question about law and order that the center should take control of. If you so wish, please raise your hands that center should take control of the law and order in states. Sir? All right, next one. But having said that, each and every time, any incident that has happened, we, despite realizing that it's a state subject, the central ministers of MIB, Ministry of Information Broadcasting, have made a statement that this is not acceptable in a country like ours. The journalists must be free, without any fear, to write about issues that face the society, the larger public, and the issues that need to be written for informing the government. This is a must. And the people who are responsible for the law and order must create an environment that not only journalists but everybody else is also safe. Yes, please.
So one more question. Sir, is BJP worried about Tamil Nadu? Does BJP have a game plan for Tamil Nadu with regard to 2019 elections?
We are worried about the country as a whole. We want the country to become stronger. There's a commitment with which every member of parliament, every person in our party is committed to and is involved for working. I think our major concern is, like I mentioned earlier, even if you take our decisions have been so strong and bold and decisive that all of the election pundits would probably say that, these are not decisions to be taken for electoral politics, but we've still taken those decisions. So without fear of losing or winning an election, we want to strengthen this country. And we hope that through people like yourselves who are very aware, you are able to write about our actions and also criticize us where our actions are wrong. But let the people understand as to reason and logic behind all these actions. It is for the first time I feel that an average Indian is being represented truly. An average Indian's feelings are being represented truly at the central government.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry?
So his question is, what he says is that most of the journalists are not getting the benefits which is being given by the central government. That's what this question is.
So central government gives PIB accreditation to the journalists who are covering the central government. Even from your media house, those who are in Delhi and covering the central government will be given PIB accreditation.
Good afternoon. My name is Lakshmi Lund from Deccan Chronicle. You spoke a lot about the achievements of your government. So can you frankly tell us the weak areas and how you're planning to work on it? Because you have one more year left. So any weaknesses of your government that you've missed upon and your plans or the challenges that you faced and how you plan to overcome them?
It's a very interesting point. If you consider this, having seen the short, brief presentation I gave you, the various numbers that are reflected there, this government is utilizing the same bureaucracy that existed before 2014. And yet, because of a sense of commitment and because of a method of governance, repeatedly, regularly, our Prime Minister is holding meetings, bringing all the various departments together and giving a timeline for achievements. So like a private sector, we are given deadlines. Every 3 months, the Prime Minister asks us, what is the ease of business that you've done? What is the ease of living that has been created by your actions of ease of business? How have you made redundant some of the rules of your ministry which are no longer valid? How many times have you visited the grassroots areas to give me feedback from there? These are very regular meetings. If you notice all the numbers that we reflected, all these numbers have been achieved because of a very, very targeted approach. And therefore, I think the strength of the government is that we've been able to communicate with the people. We've created a two-way feedback through our social media, etc. Also the visits of ministers. And therefore, our intention is to keep working in this direction. So to answer your question, we need to work more in the same direction. The path is very clear. And that is why our slogan is Saaf Niyat or Sahi Vikas. Our intentions are clear and our development is also very, very clear. Sorry, time for the meeting.
சார், இந்த தூத்துக்குடி ஸ்டெர்லைட் விவகாரத்தில் மத்திய அரசு தமிழகத்தில் இவ்வளவு ஒரு இனப்படுகொலை மாதிரி நடந்திருக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு அனுதாபம் கூட தெரிவிக்கல. இது பற்றி உங்களுடைய கருத்து?
No, I beg to disagree. The central government has very clearly spoken against the actions of the state government here. We have condemned the action by the police. We have condemned the action of the state government, and things were allowed to go out of hand. And this is it's certainly been mentioned in the most harshest of the manner.
Console the people who had lost 13 lives.
Prime Minister is certainly concerned with each and every activity happening in a country, be it a good activity or be it something that is sad. In the entire country, there are incidents that are happening, good and bad, everywhere. The Prime Minister is certainly concerned about that. We all represent the Prime Minister. If I'm sitting here because I represent the Prime Minister through his ministry of INB. And so therefore, whenever a minister speaks, he is speaking with the authority of the Prime Minister.
Coimbatore sports people.
Again, I am addressing very learned people of the society who would know very clearly what are concurrent subjects, what are state subjects, and what are central subjects. I am being asked directly of sports infrastructure in Coimbatore and that what central government would do. I'm sure you all know that it's a state subject. And the central government is supposed to take care of those athletes who reach the national level once they go beyond the state. But nevertheless, sir, I can assure you, every single action of the Ministry of Sports has been beyond our mandate. If we've created the Khelo India School Games, we are working on the broad basing of sports, and therefore on the recommendations of are adding facilities at different places. We are creating sports infrastructure so that young children at different places also have access to sport. Our target is by 2019, we will have 20 districts of India which will have a sports school dedicated for sports. By next 4 years, 150 districts will have a sports school so that these young children do not have to go anywhere else. In fact, now that I'm speaking of sports, in Khelo India, we brought down the age of participation to 16 and 17 years of age. But that is not enough. We will very soon go down to 8 years and 12 years. And very soon means 2018. We will do it this year. All this is being done by the central government. And this sports is a state subject. So in a way, we are encouraging the state governments to rise up to the standard that the center is setting.
Sir, I am Kamaraj. I am representing Kaveri News Tamil. Sir, actually, the rising internet media houses are a concerned issue. So it's been some 11,800 media houses all around India. Do we have any working reports on how we are going to organize those sectors? And there is also another issue that concerning Tamil Nadu, whenever there is an issue, the government is taking its hands on the channels and taking the channels off the air. So it's been a concerned issue. Being a minister of the same department, how do you see this problem, and how are we going to organize every reporter in the whole?
Sir, the central government is not taking any channel off air, right? It is the state government, if at all, not the central government, number one. Number two, IT, your web portals come under IT ministry, right? But nevertheless, we believe in self-regulation. And for internet, you don't need licenses to create a web portal, right? So therefore, if at all you feel that there is a policy that needs to be made, like I mentioned a little while earlier, you should all form an association and firstly self-regulate yourself. Or would you like to be regulated by us? You let us know. Whatever you want, we'll do it. But I believe you should regulate yourself. But if you want any support, you should ask the IT ministry if there's any support that can be provided to you. Thank you so much. Sorry? Toilets constructed in rural areas. What is your question again? 85%? 85%
of the completion of toilet works or construction of toilets in rural areas is over.
I use the word that 7.5 crore toilets have been made since the time our government came into power. And I said somewhere about from 1947 to 2014, only about 4.5 crore toilets were made. But in the last 3-4 years, we made 7.5 crore toilets. That's the difference I'm saying. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you.